Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. If you follow basketball, you know Chilltown Hoops.
So this is really good right here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world. Y'all know what time it is when y'all see me. It is Chilltown Hoops. We are in effect. Basketball season is constantly going on. We are here and we are in effect. You know where to find me at. You know where I am. I am here on a Monday night. We're doing it. So, you know, I always wondered, usually when older players go to teams, usually, right? When older players go to teams, it's them going to a team to just tag along. 9 times out of 10, they're not playing a major role on the crew, right? 9 times out of 10, they're just there because they're on their way out and they're trying to hang on. Mitch Richmond is the guy that I think about the most. Mitch Richmond in 2002, at that point in his career, he had been in the league for 14 years. He showed up in 88. And in 2002, the 2001-2002 season, he jumps on that Laker crew. They end up winning the NBA championship, and he makes his way out the door. David West jumps on that San Antonio crew, takes less bread, and very much is trying to get out the door with a championship. And it works. Here we are with Chris Paul jumping on this Clipper team, who, by the way, right, Chris Paul, who, by the way, has made it clear that this is his last season. He's done after this year, right? Chris Paul is done after this year. He's out. With him being out, right? With him being out, you would think that he would just go into the sunset. I'm gonna sit behind this guy, and if y'all need me to play, I'm good. Kind of like what's going on with Taj Gibson in Charlotte. What's going on with PJ Tucker with the Knicks? Like I'm chilling. I'm just the adult in the room. That's all that I am, right? So with that being said, right? With that being said, this version of Chris Paul is still pretty good though. Like he's not washed, right? This isn't a Chris Paul that is just completely and utterly over. Like there are players that I saw, at the end of their careers, they literally were just hanging on by a string, right? They were literally hanging on by a string. And I'm sorry, but I got to take care of this. This boils my blood when I see this. Casual? Do you even know what a casual is? Why should I continue this conversation and let you stay here? To call me a casual? Do you know what a casual is? A casual is somebody that randomly watches a game, that not really is paying attention, that not really knows what they're talking about. Casual? You got some nerve calling me a casual. Some nerve. When you don't have any content, who are you? What do you put out? What exactly qualifies you to call me a casual? I'm very interested to know that. What exactly do you do? What exactly have you produced that qualifies you to call me a casual? Go. I'm listening to that. I'm very interested in that. What exactly have you done? What exactly have you produced, not just here, period, that you are qualified to call me a casual? Me. You got some nerve. Anyway, like I was saying, so Chris Paul gets on this Clipper team, and he actually still good. So Chris Paul is the last 2 seasons, he's 27, I think he's about 27 minutes a game, right? I think he's about 27 minutes a game. Now, if you're still 27 minutes a game, that's more than half the game you're playing. Still. And if you're getting that kind of run at this age, you clearly are still viable. Clearly you are still viable. You got to get out of here with your rage bait. Get the fuck out of here. Goodbye. How about that for rage bait? Beat it. Anyway, you're still viable. And I think that that's dope that Chris Paul jumps on this Clipper team that does need a backup lead guard because I'm not sure what they're doing with Chris Dunn. I think Chris Dunn is better on the ball, right? I think Chris Dunn is better on the ball than he is off the ball. But even with him being better on the ball than he is off the ball, I think he's one of the better guard defenders in the game. But I think Chris Paul as a backup lead guard, even at the advanced age, he's gonna be 41 in February. I think he's better than Chris Dunn, and I think he can supplement James Harden and relieve James Harden of minutes. So, with that being said, I think this is a good pickup. I do. I think this is a good pickup. Here's the difference, though. All right. Here is the difference. The difference is, right? The difference is this crew with the Clippers, no matter who they get, this boils down to two things. One, the health of Kawhi Leonard. That's number one. And number two, can James Harden hold up in the playoffs? That's it. That is it. No matter who you go get, because I like the addition of Bradley Beal, right? I love the addition of Bradley Beal. I think that him playing off of James Harden, I think that's fantastic. I don't think that it worked in Phoenix because both him and uh Devin Booker, they kind of did the same thing. I think Devin Booker was better, but I think that they did the same thing. I think that he needs to play more off of a distributor, kind of like what John Wall was, right? John Wall was one of the better passers in the game, one of the better playmakers in the game, and that complemented Bradley Beal's game. And we forget because Bradley Beal ends up in Phoenix. I think he's 32 years old. Bradley Beal can still play, right? Bradley Beal still can play. Like Bradley Beal isn't one of these guys that's just washed. I don't think he sucks. Last year, I think he averaged 17, almost 18 a game, shot almost 50% from the floor. He played 54 games, I think, something like that. Coming off a bad back. However, if this guy playing off of James Harden could give me some of what he gave me in years past, I think he's going to be really good for the Clippers. And then you look at the Clippers rotation. So I got Zubac at the 5. I got Brook Lopez playing behind him. I got James Harden at the 1. I got Chris Paul, who is still viable, playing behind him. I got Leonard at the 3. I got Derrick Jones Jr. playing behind him. Right? I got Bradley Beal at the 2. And I have, let's see, I'm going to have Chris Dunn playing behind him. And I got Bogey playing behind him also. I got Bogey and I got Chris Dunn playing behind him. On top of that, I got Ty Lue as the coach, who ultimately is going to go to that small ball lineup with Nicholas Batum, who's still on the roster. But with this roster looking the way it's looking, because on paper, it actually looks really good. The question is can Leonard stay healthy? And can James Harden avoid those mishaps in the playoffs? Because I said this earlier to the fellas. I'm thinking to myself, and this is a bad expectation, right? This is a bad expectation, but I watch the playoffs, and the whole time I'm watching, I'm thinking to myself, all right, when is that James Harden game coming? Not that I'm wishing it to come, but I've seen it so many different times that I'm thinking to myself, it's coming. It's 100% coming. I want to say game 4. That's the game I thought it was. Lo and behold, game 7 shows up. And in true James Harden fashion, he shows up. And he shows us who he is again and again. And this is who he is, unfortunately. So can I get a better showing from him? And it's not like James Harden he's never finished a series. It's not like he's never gotten out of the first round. This is a guy, by the way, who's never, I want to make sure that we clear on this, guys. James Harden showed up in 2009. James Harden showed up in 2009 We're going into year 17. In the 17 years James Harden has been in the league, these are how many times he's missed the playoffs. 0. He's been in the playoffs every year of his career. And he's gotten out of the first round before. We've seen that, right? We've seen him get out of the first round of the playoffs. Here's the difference. The difference is that when the bets get higher, James Harden shows us who James Harden is. And that's what I'm worried about. That's why I can't bet on the Clippers. For that reason right there. But with this roster that they have, they're going to be one of the better defensive teams in the game. I think that they're going to be one of the better offensive teams in the game. I think that this team, from a rotation standpoint, they got one of the best rosters in the game. And I still think Ty Lue is one of the better coaches in the game. It's just a matter of the other things. Whatever can go wrong with the Clippers will go wrong with the Clippers. I'm not on the fence about that. I'm not thinking maybe. I'm not thinking possibly. I'm thinking that whatever can go wrong with them will go wrong with them. No doubt. So, with that being said, I asked myself, what kind of stock am I putting in the Clippers this season? Are they a first round exit? Are they a semifinals team? Well, it depends on what kind of matchup they get, right? It depends on what type of matchup this Clipper team gets, because I'm not on the fence about it. I've already said that I think that this Western Conference this season, I think that I'm looking at 8 50-win teams. I think it's going to get to secure a spot in the playoffs, not in the play-in. Nope, not in the play-in. Just in the playoffs alone, to secure a spot, that 1 through 6 spot, it's going to take 50 games to do it. Now, when we get to 7, 8, 9, when we get to 7 and 8, I'm sorry, when we get to 7 and 8, I think that's going to come awfully close. Right? I do think that that's going to come awfully close. Like this right here. Is James Harden is Harden guard version of Karl Malone? No, he's not the guard version of Karl Malone. No, I don't think so at all. Because Malone has showed up in the playoffs. He got outplayed by Jordan. That's what happened with him in the NBA Finals. He got outplayed by Jordan. And in the Western Conference Finals in 1994, he got outplayed by Olajuwon. That happened. I do not think that he's the guard version. No. I don't think that there's a choke. Now, don't get me wrong. In 95, I did think that I thought they were better than Houston, and they should have beat them, but they didn't. With that being said, this version of the Clippers on paper looks like they could make a deep run in the playoffs. Here is the caveat here. What happens when we get to the playoffs and they end up with a bad matchup? Like, how can they overcome that? It's difficult for teams to overcome bad matchups, but they do. They do. I thought that Clipper matchup for Denver, I thought that was a bad matchup for the Clippers. I mean, for Denver. I thought that was a bad matchup for them, but they overcame it. They 100% overcame that. Yes. I thought Zubac did a great job on Joker at slowing Joker down. And there haven't been many guys over the last 3 years that can slow Joker down. Zubac did a great job in slowing Joker down. But they ended up overcoming that. Aaron Gordon was great in that series. Not only was Aaron Gordon great in that series, before Chris Dunn fell on MPJ's shoulder, right? Before Chris Dunn fell on MPJ's shoulder, I mean, he was playing good, right? So, with that being said, teams can overcome bad matchups. The question that I have is what happens with this Clipper team? How do they? I don't think offense is a question, but when their offense gets stagnant, how do you supplement that? How does Kawhi Leonard stay on the floor? How does he stay engaged? Because Kawhi Leonard is one of those players where you're not going to take him out of what he does. But when he misses a shot or two, there's times when he could disappear from the game for a stretch. So who's going to pick up the slack? Is it going to be Bradley Beal? Is it going to be James Harden? Is it going to be Chris Dunn? I don't think so. Is it going to be Zubac? These are the questions that I have about this Clipper team. I don't think defense is going to be a question. I think that they're going to be one of the better defensive teams in the game again. I do think that with Leonard, Derrick Jones Jr., Zubac, Chris Dunn, I think that they're going to be one of the better defensive teams in the game. Add in Chris Paul, even at his advanced age, add in Chris Paul. I think that they're going to be one of the better defensive teams in the game. I worry about the offense getting stagnant. I do worry about that, right? I worry about that offense getting stagnant. I worry about how they're going to supplement that when that offense gets stagnant. Because, like I said, I think Bradley Beal plays better off lead guards who, and I want to make sure that I emphasize this, who are playmakers. They don't just have the ball in their hands constantly. They get off the ball. They consistently get off the ball. And Teddy Hart sends a super chat really quickly. Teddy Hart says, chill. In the best case scenario, if the Clips win the chip, do you think it changes how CP3 is remembered for the casuals who don't realize he was that dude? I think that he's going to, if they end up winning the NBA championship and he's a contributor to that, I think that he'll be looked at as a contributor. I think that he'll be kind of like what happened with Gary Payton when he won a championship with the Miami Heat. That's essentially how it'll be. Like he'll be a contributor. He won't be like if he won it when he was in Seattle when they lost to the Bulls. No, it won't be like that. I just think that he'll be a contributor, and I can definitely appreciate that because, like I said before, but when I started this stream, that I mean, Mitch Richmond did that. Mitch Richmond wasn't a major contributor to the Lakers. You know, he was riding the bus. He 100% was riding the bus. So I mean, I don't think that I don't think we look at him like that. Like Green, who was a Clippers fan, he says it's a Jason Kidd ring. No, it's not. Jason Kidd was way more contributor to the Dallas Mavericks than Chris Paul is going to be. Way more of a contributor. Better defender, younger, better in transition. He was just a better point guard at that point. I like what I'm seeing on paper. Now, mind you, I'm not getting on this Clipper train. I will not get on this Clipper train. I'm telling y'all that right now. Because I got violently pushed on the Clipper train not too long ago. And it crashed. And I vowed that I wouldn't get on this train again. And I'm not. I don't care if I see this team at the top of the Western Conference. You're not getting me on this train again. I can tell you that right now. Filipowski says, chill. I just want to tell you good night. Good night, brother. Good to talk to you. No doubt. I'm not getting on this Clipper train again. I promise you that. No, I'm not. Like I said, I got violently pushed on to that train this last season. And I'm not doing it again. And the reason why I'm not doing it, because I can't do it again. I can't. And I do understand why Clipper fans want to be this way. It's because, which leads me into my next point. I mean, it's a Laker town. If we're being honest about who Los Angeles is a Laker town. It's always been a Laker town. It's always been a Laker town. Excuse me. It's always been a Laker town. It is a Laker town today, and it will always be a Laker town. Always. And yes, the Clippers moved out of the Staples Center, went and built their own building. It's still a Laker town. Still. And now, here we are, right? Now, here we are with the Clippers adding what they did to their roster, and then the Lakers adding Marcus Smart to their roster. That's another hole that was filled. And what hole is that? Well, they don't have a point of attack defender. Not only do they not have a point of attack defender, they don't have a backup lead guard. Because I think Marcus Smart is better than Gabe Vincent. I definitely think that they've upgraded at the lead guard spot. 100% I believe that. Definitely upgraded at the lead guard spot. Now, some of you may not like Marcus Smart's shot selection. But what's going to happen is that's going to get supplemented by the plays that he makes on defense. That's going to get supplemented by how heady he is on the other side of the ball, whether he gets you a big steal at the end of the game, he takes a charge, he ends up getting a big stop, because Marcus Smart, for all intents and purposes, is still a damn good basketball player and still a damn good defender. I know that you're concerned. I know that you're concerned about his ability to stay healthy, because I think over the last 3 years he's played 68 games. Over the last 2 seasons, I think he's played 68 games. He's had a hand injury. He had the ankle injury. So he's had some injuries that has gotten him nicked up. Right. I can definitely get with that. I think that playing in Los Angeles, I think that his role is going to be lessened. And when I say his role is going to be lessened, like the stuff that he had to do in Washington, he's not going to have to do nearly as much of that stuff. What he is going to have to do is the stuff that he's good at. Knock down open shots. Be somewhat of a floor general, and play defense. If he can do that, right? If he can do that, he's gonna be golden for the Lakers. And then you add in DeAndre Ayton, that hole was filled. So we needed a 5-man, because playing Luka, Reeves, DFS, Rui, and James, we're not winning with that 5. We're not. The small ball lineup works in certain situations. We're not winning the NBA championship with that 5. It's not happening. It is not happening at all. So because of that, right? Because of that, we needed a 5-man. Well, you shore up that 5 spot with DeAndre Ayton, who's motivated. He's in a contract year. With him being in a contract year, still one of the better rebounders in the game, which I think that's going to supplement their defense. Because the 5 that I see when the season starts, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the 5 that I see when the season starts, I got Luka at the 1, Reeves at the 2, Rui at the 3, James at the 4, Ayton at the 5. That's your 5. And you got Marcus Smart coming off the bench. You got Jake LaRavia coming off the bench. You got Jackson Hayes coming off the bench. You got Gabe Vincent coming off the bench. You got Vanderbilt coming off the bench. So these are some of the guys that you have coming off the bench. And I've watched Vanderbilt work out, and I'm thinking to myself, right? I watched Vanderbilt. What up, Dion? How you doing, brother? I watched Vanderbilt work out, and there's a part of me that thinks, all right, Joe, I get the idea of, I get the idea of you not being a knockdown long ball shooter. I get that part. And I get the part of you playing a role. I get that part too. I'm not going to argue that point. No, I 100% get that part. But when I see you doing the stuff that you do in workouts, where he's playing pick and roll basketball and he gets a guy on his hip and gets a guy in jail, and he's able to keep his dribble and he's able to get downhill and score the basketball. When he's playing in space and he's able to knock down an open shot, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I appreciate the fact. I appreciate the fact that you are playing a role. But if I'm the double team man, right? If I'm consistently the double team man, that means that they're leaving me wide open. I don't have to be a knockdown long ball shooter. I don't. That's just not true. I don't have to be a knockdown long ball shooter. I'll tell you what I do have to do, though. I have to be able to play in that 15 to 18 foot space. And the reason why I have to be able to play in that space is because I'm creating space. Right? What up, Tommy? How you doing, brother? I'm creating space for other guys. And you guys might think that the mid-range game is gone. DeMar DeRozan has proven that the mid-range game is still alive and well. Zach LaVine has proven that the mid-range game is alive and well. There's plenty of guys that still play in the mid-range. Still. And for a guy like Vanderbilt, if I'm going to be left wide open, I have to. I'm not saying that I should. I'm not saying that I'm going to try. I have to keep the defense honest. I have to. Otherwise, why am I out here? So when I got rotation guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, when I got rotation guys like Jake LaRavia, when I got rotation guys like Gabe Vincent, and I still think if I'm being honest with you, I still think that Bronny, I think we're still a year away from him really contributing. I do think that he's going to make the squad this year. I don't think he's going to be a two-way player this year, but I still think that we're a year away, maybe two, from him being a real contributor on this team. With that being said, right? With that being said, the rotation guys that they have, I mean, I don't see how I don't think that they're terrible. Now, I will tell you this: I'll be blown away if they won the NBA championship. Looking at this roster and looking at what they have, I will be blown away if they won the NBA. This would be mind-boggling. Especially considering what the Western Conference is. I just told you guys, it's going to take 50 games just to get in the playoffs outright. It's going to take 50 games minimum just to outright get in the playoffs. And these play-in teams, like from 7 to 10, I don't think it's ridiculous to think that you can miss the playoffs this year winning 45 games. I don't think that that's ridiculous for me to think that. I don't. And I've also gotten the pushback that, well, chill, the Eastern Conference has to be historically bad. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, because I think in 14, I want to say in 2014, you had 8 teams win 50 games. I don't think the Eastern Conference was terrible in 2014. I don't think it was that bad. No. I do not think that the Eastern Conference was awful. If I look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference in 2014, that season in particular, when I had 8 teams make the playoffs, winning 50 games, right? I had San Antonio winning 62 games. Oklahoma City won 59 games. The Clippers won 57. The Blazers at 4 won 54. The Rockets at 5 won 54. Golden State at 6 won 51. Memphis at 7 won 50. So 7 of the 8 teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Memphis won 50 games. And Dallas won 49 games that year. Now, you have one team, right? You have one team that was out. Now, the East wasn't historically bad. I mean, Indiana won 56 games that year. The Heat won 54 games. Toronto, 48 games. The Bulls won 48 games. Brooklyn, 44 games. Now, I know that 44 games is good enough for ninth. That's not a playoff team, right? And then the Bobcats, we already know how. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, 6 teams. I just don't think the Eastern Conference was that bad. And I think this year, when you have Cleveland, the Knicks, because the top 5 in the Eastern Conference, I think, is going to be Cleveland, the Knicks, Orlando, Atlanta, Detroit. I think that's your top 5. And I think that Milwaukee is teetering around that 6-7 range. I think Philly, I think Philly I feel like Philly is a wild card. I'm not sure if Joel Embiid's going to hold up. We'll see. I'm not really putting a lot of stock in it, right? I'm not really putting a lot of stock in it, but I know that they could be a wild card. I do know that could happen. Now, with that being said, if I could get this Laker team, like I said, if I could get this Laker team to 50 wins, I mean, that definitely gets them in the playoffs. I'm not going to argue that point. But then we get to matchups. Like, how do they match up with Minnesota? You know, adding DeAndre Ayton. How do they match up? How do they match up with Oklahoma City? Right? How do they match up with Houston? Could they win a playoff series? Now, don't get me wrong. They didn't bag Luka. They didn't bring back James. Excuse me. They didn't bag Luka. They didn't bag James to Harvey. What are you talking about? Harvey, what's your angle, brother? I'm confused. I'm confused what your angle is here. What are you talking about? Because it's clear that you clearly got something on your mind. Like what? Like, let's talk to Harvey. Because Harvey's got something on his mind. Harvey 22 clearly has something on his mind. So he thinks that the Mavs smoked the Lakers in 5 games. This is the same Dallas Maverick team that traded for Luka, but I think that Dallas are going to be good. But Harvey wants to be that guy, part of the conversation. All right, so okay, Harvey, you tell us, right? You tell us, Harvey, where do you think your team, where do you think your Dallas Maverick team ends up this season? So if the season ended today, right? It is April, it's April the 13th, it's April the 12th, right? It's April the 12th in 2026. Where is your team at today? Harvey. Let's talk to Harvey, folks, because Harvey is a Dallas Maverick fan. So let's talk to Harvey. Harvey, where is your team today? You tell us, Harvey. hmm You tell us. If you gotta see the Lakers in round one, you think y'all smoked the Lakers in 5 games. Why do you think y'all smoked the Lakers in 5 games? What are you basing that on? I'm not saying that it can't happen either, by the way. I'm not saying that. No, and on any level, am I saying that it can't happen? I just want to know from you, why do you think y'all smoked the Lakers in 5 games? I'm interested to hear that from you, right? I'd be really interested to hear that from you. But I think that this Lakers traded for Marcus Smart. I think it's a good thing. I think he supplements perimeter defense because they don't have any. I mean, I don't know exactly what Vando is going to do, right? I don't know exactly what what I mean when I say I don't know what Vando is going to do. I mean I don't know the health of Vando. I mean we're talking 2 years where he wasn't healthy. That's what we're doing. We're talking 2 years where Vando was in and out the lineup. All right. Well, with that being said, right? With Vando, not sure that he's going to be healthy. Okay, so with that being said, what does that mean for the Lakers' perimeter defense? Okay, we bag Marcus Smart. So this is another guy who has been in and out of the lineup over the last 2 years. Can we count on Marcus Smart to give us 60 games? Can we count on Marcus Smart to give us 65 games? Can we do that? Is that a realistic possibility to count on Marcus Smart to give us 65 games? Or am I out of line to think that he can't do that? Is that ridiculous to think? Because I can tell you right now, if he could give us, if Marcus Smart could give you 60 to 65 games at the level of defense, not 2021, right? Not 2021 Marcus Smart. I ain't talking about the defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart. I'm just talking about Marcus Smart, who is still viable as a defender. And we look at Marcus Smart as and we look at Marcus Smart as washed. Yo, he's only 31, right? 31 years old. 31 years old. I mean, that's not, I don't think that that's washed. Anthony Davis is 32, right? Anthony Davis is 32 years old, right? So Kyrie Irving is 32 years old. I mean, we'll talk about Kyrie Irving like he's one of the better league guards in the game. I don't think injuries have. I don't think injuries sank Marcus Smart. I still think that he's viable as a. I still think he's viable as a backup league guard. I do. I still think he's a guy who can contribute majorly on a playoff team. I 100% believe that, especially when you put him in the space where the things that he does great, you can utilize that. When you put him in space where the things that he's the best at, you can amplify that, and the things that he's not good at, we can take that off the table. When you put him in space doing that, I think Marcus Smart really helps you. 100%, I believe he helps you. So I had a conversation about Luka being the league MVP, and I had to come off that. Right, I had to come off that, off the strength that I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, if Luka's going to be the league MVP, that means I have to believe that the Lakers are going to be a top 3 seed in the Western Conference. They were a top 3 seed last year. right? They were a top 3 seed last year. I got to believe that this season they're going to be a top 3 seed again, and I don't. I don't believe that they're going to be a top 3 seed again this season. Even though I think Luka's going to get busy. I don't think Luka's going to be good. I think he's going to get busy. But I think that I think it's going to take more than a 4 or 5 seed in order for Luka to see the league MVP. So, but I do want to hear from you guys, though. I do. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you have to say about all of this. What up, TD?
Yo, what's up, OG?
What up, brother?
Not much. Hey, I was trying to see like your definition between today's league guard and like 80s and 90s league guard, besides scoring. Like,
Mm-hmm.
cause I was looking at an interview from Gary Payton, and he was saying how the assist rule changed.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said the assist that goes to the basket opposed to how this one changed in today's time.
Mm. So I'm thinking to myself, when I think about the league guard, to be honest with you, he hasn't changed much. He's more of a combo guard today. That's what he is more than anything. And you still have to do league guard stuff. So like Trey Young, Halliburton, Foxy. I mean, they still do league guard stuff. It's just that in 1990 and 1992, you could be relegated to just being a distributor who scored later. You can't do that today. You have to be able to put the bat. You got to be able to put the ball in the bucket at a high rate. You have to be able. John Stockton could not just be relegated to just being a distributor. He couldn't do that today. He would have to be able to score, and he doesn't have to average 30. He doesn't have to average 25. I'm not saying that at all. But he couldn't just be a guy who was just dumping the ball into the post or consistently getting everybody else in the offense and not looking for his offense. He couldn't do that today. He would have to score at a high rate. So I think the difference from the league guard in 1992 to 2025 is the guy today, he's more of a combo guard, but he's more of a shoot first guy. I had a conversation, which is crazy too. I had a conversation with Gilbert Arenas, and I asked him, I said, Gil, if I told you in 2005 that you, Allen Iverson, Baron Davis, this is the future of the league guard. This is what the league guard is going to look like in 20 years. Would you have bought that? And he thought I was crazy. Like, nah, I would not have bought that because of how the game was and how you did have to get everybody else involved in the game. And not just getting everybody else involved in the game, but also, right? But also how you had to look for your offense. So, I mean, in today's game, you know, the lead guard, like working with, say, Mark Jackson, like he couldn't be just relegated to being a distributor. Mark Jackson, one of the best passers in NBA history, one of the best distributors in NBA history. Before I laid my eyes on Kyrie Irving, Kenny Anderson, the best ball handler that I ever seen. But he would have to be able to score more in today's game. If you honestly think that you're going to be one of the better league guards in the game today, and like guys like Gilbert Arenas, Baron Davis, Steve Francis, like them dudes would be awesome today because that's what the league guard is. They was doing it 20 years ago, right? They were doing it 20 years ago. And then guys like Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, John Stockton. I mean, I could score. I 100% could score, but that wasn't my job. Today, that would be a big part of your job. That would be a huge part of your job. You would have to be able to score at a high rate today if you're going to play the league guard. You have to. That's part of being a league guard, no doubt about it. What up?
Yo, chill, what's good?
What up?
It's good. I just wanted to ask you, who's your favorites for next year's title? Like, who do you have winning it next year?
I got the Cavs winning the NBA championship next season. I think it's their turn. I just think that they got a toughness issue that they gotta clean up. And I think once they do that, I think they'll be fine. Because I think they got everything necessary in order to win the NBA championship. Everything.
Wow, you have the Cavs.
I
I,
do.
I I think health is the biggest problem probably for the Cavs. Health, but
Mm.
I like Mobley though a lot. I know you were big on Mobley from like the jump, but
Yes.
do you think he
I also
deserves
think
that
that
defensive player of the year?
I said it before the season started that he was winning the defensive player of the year. Even when Wemby was healthy, I said that Mobley was winning the defensive player of the year. I think he's the best defensive player in the game. I stand on that. I've explained why I thought he's the best defensive player in the game, and I still stand on that. And don't get me wrong, I do think that with Wemby getting hurt, I mean, that did push him to the front of the line, but I would like to see, like, with all of those guys healthy, with Wemby. I mean, Bam was healthy the season that just passed. Anthony Davis was healthy the season that just passed. Giannis was healthy. All of these guys, Amen Thompson was healthy. All of these guys were healthy, and Mobley still did it. I think he's the best defensive player in the game.
Yeah, I think Amin Thompson and him are close, but yeah, I agree.
He's the guy I think wins it this year. I think Amen Thompson is winning the defensive player of the year this season coming up. I think that he's going to affect the game. As much as Wemby affects the game at the rim, I think he's going to affect the game even more on the perimeter.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
And I was want to ask one more question. So, let's say Giannis has like a he averages crazy amount, and he drags that Bucks team to like a 3 seed. Do you think he wins MVP?
I wouldn't be surprised if he averaging 30 and 12 again. I dare you to keep him out of it. I dare
Yeah,
y'all. Because that'll be for the fourth straight year. He was 30 and 12. I'm trying to think of somebody who was 30 and 12 for 4 straight years. Let's see. 30 and 12 for 4 straight years. Chamberlain.
yeah.
That's who is that? Chamberlain, 30 and 12. Karl Malone, 28 and 11. Stuff like that. Like 30 and 12 for the fourth straight year. Yeah, I dare you to keep him out of the race. I dare you.
I think that can happen. Honestly, I think
Yes.
Giannis can do it. But I appreciate you, show. Thank you for letting me come on.
Yes, sir. You know where to find me at, brother. What up?
Yo, my bad.
What
What's
up?
up, Chill? How you doing, OG?
What up? What's up, brother?
So first thing I want to talk about was I feel like that at the time when this move was made, we were talking about it, but now I don't know how long it's been, but I feel like now it's getting under the radar. Cam Johnson to Denver. And I think
Yep.
I think the Nuggets are gonna have a resurgence this year with Cam Johnson going to Denver. To me, and I think Jamal Murray's still good. I think that he can make shots in the playoffs. But for me, when I watched Jamal Murray in the season, I felt like that his game is a little too reliant on contested jumpers at this point, just mainly due to the injuries kind of slowing down his athleticism. But for me, I think Cam Johnson is the perfect version of somebody who can create his own shot while also playing within an offense and being able to knock down catch and shoot threes. And I don't know, man. I think he's a borderline all-star this year. Like, I think you might see. I know it's a tough West. It's a tough West, but I think that this is the perfect team that he can go to because he can knock down shots at 40% level and he can get a shot at a high level. Both of those things, I think that he goes to Denver and he has a career year. I wanted to see what you thought about that, though.
Well, number one, when your shot diet is a consistent diet of tough shots, I mean that's difficult to maintain. That's number one. And Jamal Murray, he's one of the best tough shot making guards in the game. I'm not going to argue that point, but he has to get better looks, and he will. And the reason why he will get better looks this season is, to your point, I think all of the holes that Denver had last season, they got filled.
Yep.
All of them. So the rotation, we got arguably the best backup big in the game. I know how y'all feel. I know how you all feel about Brook Lopez in with the Clippers. I think Valanciunas is just as good. That's number one. You brought back Bruce Brown. In addition to bringing back Bruce Brown, you bagged Tim Hardaway Jr. So you got another guy who stretches the floor. In addition to Peyton Watson and Strother, and then you get Cam Johnson. Right now, we have an issue of health. Can we stay healthy? Like, how are these guys? Like, I'm imagining how much better Tim Hardaway as a jump shooter is going to be playing off Joker. Like, how many more looks is he going to get that are better looks playing off Joker as opposed to him basically shooting at the end of the shot clock when he's in Detroit? That's not to say that Cade can't create good shots for him. He ain't Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised if Denver was in the NBA Finals this season.
I
In the
think
25-26 season. I would not be surprised if he was back in the NBA Finals at all.
I think they have a complete resurgence. And I think Valanciunas versus Brook Lopez is interesting. I still think Lopez is going to provide value 3-point shooting wise, But everything else, I feel like at this point, Lopez is kind of over the hill on, or at least he wasn't as good as he was 2 years in. I think Valanciunas can still provide a whole lot of value for them. And then lastly, I just wanted to see how you're feeling about Colin Knippel, because for me, halfway through last season, he's projected to go like 10 or 11. He's projected to go to my Blazers, because the Blazers were going to have a 10 11 pick. And, to be honest with you, just looking at what his archetype was, I wasn't honestly that excited. But when I watched him in the NCAA tournament, when I watched him against UNC, like, I learned, he's not athletic, but he's so crafty and he's so much more skilled than what people give him credit for. And like, is he going to be better than Ace Bailey? Skill set wise, he's not better. But what I will say is that dude's IQ is top notch. His ability just to honestly handle the ball and move with the ball in his hands, like in the IQ, all that stuff is just it's really glaring for me. I don't think he's going to come in and be like a starting level player at this point, because he's got to improve that body a little bit. He's just got to continue to get in the weight room, continue to get a little quicker and stuff. But I think 2 or 3 years down the line, we'll be looking at this dude in a very, very good light. I don't think he'll get to 20 points a game, because he probably will be a role player, but I think that he'll be one of the best role players in the league at least.
Well, the plus side to him is he plays within himself, and I really like that about him as a player, because that suggests to me that I'm smart enough to know what I can do, and I'm smart enough to know what I can't do.
Yeah.
And what I can't do, I'm not going to hurt the unit. On the flip side to that, I do think Charlotte made a mistake. I'm more partial to Trey Johnson, because I think that he fits what they're doing better.
Mm-hmm.
He's athletic. Not only is he athletic, more athletic, but I think he's a better jump shooter than Colin Knippel. I think he's a better scorer than Colin Knippel. And I think he's a better shot, not just creator, but shot taker than Colin Knippel. And I think that works. But, I mean, it's Charlotte, so there's really not much.
That did confuse me.
It's really not much that I can do with Charlotte, because it's Charlotte. I mean, what can I really say about Charlotte that hasn't already been said? It's Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that they really. I mean, they already got a league guard and they trade for Colin Sexton. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? And I'm trying to make sense of what exactly. And Colin Sexton, I think, is a starter in the NBA. I don't think he was 17, 18 a game in Utah.
Well, he doesn't make
With that
sense.
being said, like,
what?
why are you trading for Colin Sexton? You trading for Colin Sexton. If I'm being honest with myself, you trading for Colin Sexton because you don't think LaMelo's going to hold up. That's why you trading for him. You trading for him for insurance.
He's still really good though. I just think LaMelo gets, people look at the flashy passes and people look at that stuff. And I'm not saying he's not a good passer, but when you look at a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, for example, he's not missing as many. Tyrese Halliburton barely misses reads. I think LaMelo is still he needs to work on his shot IQ a little bit more. And understand he was on a bad team, but it's like when you're shooting sub 40%, that's like a problem as a point guard when you're 6'7". So I feel like that he can't figure it out, but we're kind of teetering where he's been in the league so long. It's like, when are you going to? Like, I'll give you 3 or 4 years to reach a certain level, and then you've got maybe 1 or 2 more. And after that, then you're kind of just who you are. So, yeah, it's not to hate on LaMelo. It's just like there are a lot of flaws in this game.
Hey, man, you just calling it how you see it. And at this point, what are we in with LaMelo? I think he showed up in 21, or was it 20? I think he showed up in 20 during the pandemic. I think he was in that draft. All right, so we're going into year 5. No, I'm sorry. I think we either going into year 5 or year 6. So we're getting close to that. We're getting close to that. This is who he is. Space. I think we're getting close to that. So I'll be interested to see what I get from him this season. But good to talk to you, brother. I appreciate it.
You have a good one.
Yes, sir. What up?
Yo, chill, I'm good.
What up, brother?
Yeah, I'm seeing the title, Old Age Clippers. I came in late on this one, so I didn't hear too much of your opinion on them. Are you back on the train, or what's going on? What's going on?
No, I'm not on the train, but I do think that there's some of these pieces that could work. Like Chris Paul is a backup league guard. I do think that this could work. And I do think that he could help them. Bradley Beal, I think he plays better off of James Harden than he did off of Devin Booker. James Harden is a better distributor. He's a better playmaker. I think he's a better scorer. So with that being said, I think that opens up a lot more for Bradley Beal as a bucket getter. I feel like him and Devin Booker were basically tripping over each other, like stepping on each other, because they both did kind of the same thing, which would
Yeah.
explain why it didn't work. But playing with James Harden, I think that could work. It's just a matter of his health because I know he's got a bad back, and yes, this is the as we could call it the geriatric crew. I mean, James Harden's going to be 36.
Nah.
Paul Pierce, Paul Pierce going to be 41. Paul Pierce, I'm sorry,
Oh,
Chris Paul's
Paul
going to be
Pierce.
40. Chris Paul going to be 41 in
Yep.
February. We already know who Leonard is. So I mean, they
Yeah, I
got
was
some
going.
dudes that's long in the tooth. I mean,
Yeah,
Brooke
I was
Lopez, I
gonna
think is
say
what.
though, I like the CP3 edition though. I think
Mm-hmm,
CP is one of them dudes. Whether you like him or not, you gonna respect him. He's like an
mm-hmm.
on-court coach almost, and I feel like that was necessary for them in a way. For a team full of vets, they needed somebody to bring that all together because them dudes, I think 1 through 9, just like you said just now, they're probably 35 plus, like 1 through 5, 1 through 7.
Yep.
It's
That's
John Collins.
long in the
John
tooth.
Collins probably the youngest one that's gonna be playing a lot
Yep.
of minutes.
And what is he?
So
29, something like that.
yeah,
So he in his
he's
prime
a vet
still.
himself. So it's a team
Mm-hmm.
full of vets, and we know Ty Lue loves a team full of vets. Ty Lue not with the developmental shit. He not with the young players. He has never been. Ty Lue wants a team full of vets. That's what he loves to coach. So CP coming in being like an on-court coach for them in a way. I like the addition, even though he is long in the tooth, like you said. I think he's going to give them good minutes in an aspect they didn't have. He played with James Harden before, we know that, so the connection's there.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far
But
as the Lakers, I think that Marcus Smart, he the addition of Marcus Smart gives them something that they didn't have, and that's a perimeter defender. You ain't getting that defense from Luka. You're not getting that defense from Austin Reeves. You're going to get Austin Reeves to compete. No, don't get me wrong. He's going to compete on the defensive end. He's just not as good as a defender. So, with that being said, I need somebody that's going to actually defend. I don't need somebody that's going to try to run. I need somebody who can run. That's not going to
yeah,
work, right?
yeah, I hear
So
you.
adding Marcus Smart, yes, the shot selection is going to be a little tricky, and there's going to be times when you want to choke him out because with 17
Man,
seconds on the shot clock, this dude is cracking a three with somebody in his face. He's going to do that, right? But I also think that he's going to make big plays on defense to save games. I think that he's going to come up with a charge or a big time rebound or a big time steal, something like that throughout the course of the season, throughout the course of games, that's going to save them when they have when they need saving. And I think that that's going to supplement what they didn't have as a backup lead guard. The
for
question that
sure.
I have is with Vando, because he's their perimeter defender. Is he going to be able to stay healthy? I do worry about the health of Marcus Smart, but I worry about it more with Vando because over the last 2 years, that's all I've really seen is him just be on the bench. He's got this foot injury that's been one of the biggest problems, but I've seen him working out in the summer and he looks super sharp. He looks like he's ready to go, which I think is good. I'd like to see him implement some of that stuff that he's doing
Yeah,
in the offseason. I'd like to see
he
him
got
implement
to.
some of
He
that.
got to add something to his
I,
game.
I would love to see him implement some of that stuff. I'd love to see him be able to knock down a mid-range shot just to keep defenses honest. I'd love to see that. Love to
Yeah,
see
I think the Lakers took an approach where they picked up dudes who kind of their stock is kind of low right now. Aiton, in my opinion, and Marcus Smart in a way, not because the basketball aspect. I mean, like you said, it's the games played, and we ain't really seen Marcus Smart like the past couple of seasons. So the Lakers, I like the approach they took with taking dudes who kind of need their value restored in this league. So it
Yep.
all depends on how you look at it, and which side you lean with. If you're more of a star guy with the Clippers, they have a star field roster, or the not so attractive names like the Lakers did, like a Jake LaRavia, like a Marcus Smart, like a DeAndre Ayton. It just depends which side you lean with. But I was going to ask you, now that we're kind of coming to an end, I seen the word out there right now is Horford and Melton are probably going to head to Golden State. But other than that, we probably ain't going to see that many more moves. So I was going to ask you, what team do you think cleaned up the best? Who did their thing? Who got the A+ from you this free agency?
Um, the team that I thought did a great job in free agency was Denver. Of,
Denver
of,
got the
of,
A+.
of all the teams that I saw in the offseason that, did what they were trying to do to get to shore up their roster, it was Denver. And the reason why I say that is because Denver filled I feel like every need that was necessary. They got a backup big. They got shooting coming off the bench. I mean,
They
they
got
ended
their
up
guy back,
getting
Bruce. They
they,
got
they
Bruce.
got Bruce Brown back. So that there's your energy guy. Then you got your shooter coming off the bench and Tim Hardaway Jr. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of the stuff that was necessary for them in order for them to get to where they're trying to go. Because I think that Denver, with the additions that they made in the offseason, I think that they could be a team that's going to the NBA Finals. I think they could be that good next year.
Okay,
That
so
good.
you're not of the belief that we getting a back-to-back champ anytime soon, huh?
I to be honest with you, and I love what they're doing I don't like what they're doing in Oklahoma City, Vinny. I
Man,
love what they're doing in Oklahoma City. I don't like it. I love what they're doing in Oklahoma
me
City.
too,
But
Chill. Me too.
I just don't think that I'm going to see a back-to-back champ in this decade. I don't think so. I thought it was Milwaukee, wrong. I thought it was going to be Denver, wrong. You couldn't convince me that it wasn't going to be Boston. Boston is definitely winning the championship next year. Nope. Jason Tatum tears up his Achilles, and even if he didn't get hurt, the Knicks were going to beat them anyway. That style of play,
Catching up to him.
that
It
they
caught up
have,
to him.
and it 100% caught up to him. So
Yeah.
I'm having a difficult time
With the back-to-backs.
I can't see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. It's kind of fun, though, the parody, man. We're enjoying it. I
Yes,
think
it
it's
is.
good for basketball.
100%. No
Good
doubt.
talking to you, though, Chill.
Good to talk to you, Vinny. You know where to find me at, brother. What up?
Whole bunch of stuff, man. But first, I want to say thank you for doing the show. This is a great show, man. Love it.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Word,
Breezy.
man. You know what I'm saying? Big fan of what you're doing. I see you on TikTok. You everywhere. But the elephant in the room to me was, you know what I'm saying, the title, because it's like the youngest team in the NBA just won a championship. And now they look like they're the oldest team. And I'm just saying, I think me and Chill and everybody else watching the evolution of basketball happen right now. Where
Right in
young
front of
teams,
us. Right
word.
in front of us.
I
Right in
wanted to
front
hear
of us.
you. I wanted to, you know, because I'm trying to chill with you. I want to ask you specifically. Do you see what? I know you do, but I'm saying in a question form. With you know what I'm saying? Sam Presti is doing with making his team competitive in that rookie scale contract. Same thing with Houston Rockets. They trying to make these these lottery picks and that rookie scale contract with a lottery pick. They trying to become competitive right away. I see it with the Spurs. I see it with Houston. I see it with OKC. You see what I'm saying?
Well, think this, fan. Think this, Breezy. If you look at who Oklahoma City got in free agency last year, they got Hartenstein. Hartenstein is a backup with the Knicks. Like, that's what they're getting in free agency. Like, nobody's coming to Oklahoma City. So we got to get it through the draft. We got to get it right in the draft. And we got, excuse me, we got to get it right in the draft. And we got to get it right when we trade for guys. Like, they screwed up and they owned up to it. When they traded for Gordon Hayward, it just didn't work, right? It just didn't fit. And I mean, that's part of it. Sometimes you're going to miss, right? But for the most part, with all of the draft picks that they have, when things start to get expensive, they have the opportunity to reload. They have the opportunity. If I got to move off of Casey Wallace, right? I'm really not interested in moving off of J-Dub. I'm really not. I'm not interested in moving off of him at all. No, but things are going to get expensive in Oklahoma City. They're going to get expensive fast because of this collective bargaining agreement, and it sucks too. But because I got the draft picks that I have, I'm going to be able to supplement that. And Sam Presti has shown us that he'll get it right in the draft more than he gets it wrong. Like finding Aaron Wiggins at the number 55 pick. That's a big
55.
deal. Like nobody really talking about that. Finding him at the 55th pick. Casey Wallace, right? Bagging Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. I mean, I think that was a damn good trade for both parties.
Hell
You
yeah.
get your lead guard. I get my I get my wing defender who I desperately need. So I feel like what Sam Presti is doing, I think that he set himself up with they're going to consistently be competitive because of those draft picks.
Yeah, I think just going younger for teams, trying to be competitive, specifically the Houston Rockets, OKC, and the Spurs. These teams being competitive this early in these rookie scale contracts, it's going to show competitive, you know what I'm saying, for a long time. And I think that, you know, I was watching, you watch 7 p.m. in Brooklyn? You watch that show with Carmelo, the podcast?
I've seen it a couple of times. It's a good show. Yes.
Yeah, him and Tracy McGrady was on there talking about being pure Spurs. And you know what I'm saying? Tracy McGrady and Carmelo, they agree that, you know what I mean, it's a lot of myths that go inside of, you know what I'm saying, the scoring the ball and, you know what I mean, being a playmaker, facilitate all scoring. But case in point is, you know, the way they discussed it, it was like it's 90% mental. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
he was talking like mellow, but I eat. Can you hear me?
Yes, you hot. I'm listening to you. You hot.
Mellow, i.e., he was saying that he wasn't never worried about Tim Duncan guarding him. It was more of a, you know what I mean? I mean, not Tim Duncan, the guy that was guarding him. He was worried about Tim Duncan in the weak side, so he had to figure a way around the deep. They spoke on a lot of things. I don't want to ramble
No,
on,
no,
but
I
you know,
understand what you're
they
saying. If you look at scorers, right? If you look at scorers specifically, Kobe Bryant was great at this. Like the guy that's in front of him, he looks past him because I can get around him. I can get past him. I'm
were.
looking at the second line of that defense, and what I'm doing when I'm looking at the second line of the defense, I'm playing plays in my head, 2, 3 plays ahead. That's what I'm doing. Okay, once I get by him, that weak side defender, he's gonna flash. When that weak side defender is gonna flash, he's gonna be open. But if he's open, that defender's gonna see that and he's gonna slide down. So I'm not gonna be able to hit him. All right, but I still got this guy coming up. So I can shoot right over the top of him. This is the kind of stuff the reason why I say that, Breezy, because I get that from Larry Bird. Larry Bird used to say that he would play the game a couple of plays ahead and it would work out exactly how he thought it would. I mean, that's the basketball IQ that these guys have, and I love that about I love that about guys like Carmelo Anthony, about Tracy McGrady, and the fact that these guys they wouldn't waste any time. Like, let's get right to it. I mean, I think that's what made them great scorers.
Nah, facts. The last thing I want to say, and I had to speak to you about it because, again, I don't know if they should get credit for it because I'm up to, you know what I'm saying, do a live, and they talking about, I'm talking about international basketball and national basketball. Like, we the NBA, we national basketball. The basketball is national. We here. You look at the talent here, they prioritize the talent here because we better. That's what we were notorious for a long time. Now, I'm only saying that to say with contrast to the MVP this decade. We ain't gonna go through it. But I said that to say that they take credit. The international basketball, when I googled it, because I ain't gonna lie, I googled it. But I'm asking you, somebody that actually seen it, basketball evolve through the, you know what I'm saying, plethora of seasons. Now I'm saying that to say the international basketball take credit for ball movement. They take credit for just kind of like playing a team way, and then they try to peg the NBA as being dominant with one player. So you know what I mean? I'm just asking you, should they be able to take credit for that? Is it always about was the NBA always about one player dominating, or did we have ball movement too? I just feel like they just taking some of the credit that the NBA deserves, the national basketball deserves. You know what I'm saying?
Well, think about this, Breezy. When Tex Winners and Phil Jackson bought into the idea of Tex Winners with the triangle, I mean, that was revolutionary. Like moving the basketball, like
Right.
not one guy just dominating the basketball. In fact, that's why we were losing because this one guy had the ball all the time, and it wasn't difficult to just load up on him. We can consistently load up on him. When we had Magic, okay, Magic sped the game up, but with Magic speeding up the game, even though he had the ball in his hands, he was looking for you. All you got to do is run. I mean, that's basketball. When I got a bunch of different guys in the game, it's difficult for you to key in on all of us as opposed to when I got one guy who's got the ball all the time. Well, if I'm throwing the ball into Olajuwon, we're playing off of him. It's not like I'm throwing the ball into Olajuwon and we just all standing around watching. No, that's not the way that works. Kenny Smith is flaring to the corner, right? Vernon Maxwell is diving to the rim. Otis Thorpe
Kenny
is
Smith.
also getting big. I mean, it was a number of different guys that made it clear that it wasn't just throwing the ball into Olajuwon. He was our hub. He was the offense, but we got other guys involved in the game in other ways. And I think with the international game, guys like Luca, guys coming to the league, they make it look like y'all the only ones moving the ball. No, the ball was moving in the NBA. Look at that Golden State Warriors offense. In 2014, that San Antonio, the way that they beat that Miami Heat team, Breezy, that's the most beautiful basketball I've ever seen in my life. Ever.
Yeah, I know that. I
I
know
ain't
you
never
love
seen
that
basketball
team.
that
No, serious.
man, that was the most beautiful basketball I ever. The way that they smoked Miami, I was like, nobody could beat you playing like this. Nobody. I don't care who you go get. If that ball is moving like that, you got no chance. The 96 Bulls, the 72 Lakers, none of you dudes got a chance against these dudes with the ball moving like that. So it's very important that we recognize that the ball has always moved in the NBA. It's just a matter of the influx of the Euro making it look like the Euros brought this over here. No, they didn't. No, they did not. That's just not true. So
Nah,
good to
I
talk to you,
appreciate
Bridget.
you, Chill. Yeah,
You
thank
know
you,
where to
man.
find me at, brother. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we know what I think that we know what basketball is, and I think that we know like the right way to play. I don't think that it's I don't think it's news that the right way to play basketball is to make sure that we get guys involved. Don't get me wrong, we do need a bucket getter. We 100% need that. And if we got a bucket getter, we're going to be good. But we're a lot we're a lot more difficult to guard when it's more than one of us. A lot more. So, um, you guys know where to find me. It's about that time for me. I got to bounce. It was good to see you guys tonight. Y'all know what time it is with me, man. You know where to find me at. If I'm not here, I'm on TikTok 9 a.m. every morning. If I'm not there, you can find me on a panel on the Players Choice Network right here on YouTube. If you can't find me here, you can find me right here on Chilltown Hoops weeknights. On Tuesday nights, me and my man Tony Tone, we do it on the Sports Fluent Network and right here on the Chilltown Hoops Network. If I'm not here, you can find me and my man Big Ox on Thursday and Saturday on the Players Choice Network. So I'm not hard to find, guys. I will see you soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When's the last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I will talk to you guys soon, but until then, take it light, but take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys tonight. This was dope, no doubt.